Well, hello everybody, I hope you're well. Well, welcome to this episode, and it's the very last episode of 2023 and the last episode of season 2 of this podcast. But before we get into the rest of the episode, I just want to say that I hope everybody had a good Christmas or managed to enjoy some of it, because I know Christmas can be a bit of a difficult time for many people, but I hope that you at least got to enjoy some of it, whether it's just to relax and chill, spend time with family or friends, whether it's eating, drinking and being merry or what have you. I do hope that you did manage to have somewhat of a nice time this Christmas. I don't know about you, but this year has just flown past, like many of the years past have done that as well, haven't they? The years just, I guess the older you get, the quicker the years go. And sometimes I think you wish that time would just slow down a little bit. But it's been a very quick year. It's been a very busy year for me as well. And, it's that time of year where I think we do get bit reflective, don't we? And I think sometimes it's important to get reflective and look back at what you achieved this year. And it can be something really, really small. It doesn't have to be these big life-changing things. There can be really small things that you look back on and go, well, actually, that was a benefit to me, or I learned something from that. And I've actually done that recently. I've sat down with my own thoughts, my notepad, I've noted down all the things I have achieved this year. And you look at the list sometimes, you think, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I am where I am. I can't believe I tried that and it worked. Or this is a new thing that I tried and, it felt good. Or I tried this thing, it didn't quite work out so well. So what am I going to learn from that? And it might sound a bit, a bit twee and a bit, nicey, but I think as humans we don't reflect enough. We don't reflect on what we've achieved, what we're good at, where we've come from, what we've improved on, whether it be a personal skill, whether it be a skill that you use for your workplace, whether it be you've improved communication somewhere with something, it could be multiple different things. But I think sometimes it's important to sit down and really look at how the year has gone, where it started, how did it finish. Even if you felt for you it was a bit of a shitty year, you can still find learning opportunities within those shitty things that you can take into the new year and make those changes that you need to make. But if I look at my year this year, it's been a very busy year, and it's been a year of new things for me. So the first big new thing for me was to step out onto that public platform. Now, I have done that previously. So for those of you that follow my work, I've been doing online services and demonstrations for the past couple of years. But this year was actually about going into physical spaces like churches and centres, village halls or what have you, to do demonstrations of mediumship and like Sunday services, divine services for different churches and things like that. So yeah, that's taken up a lot of the year, which I'm grateful for, and that's continuing into next year. I've already got bookings all the way up until November next year already. So that's been a really new thing for me. And sometimes some new things we do can be a bit scary. So public platform work for me, going back a few years, the thought of doing it, made me really nervous because it's something outside the comfort zone. And I say this to anybody that, once you reflect on your year this year, look at those things that you did that were outside your comfort zone and tell yourself, well done. Give yourself that pat on the back and say, look what I did. I did something that I would normally shy away from. I did something that was outside of my comfort zone. I stepped out of my little box and I tried something new. And whether it worked or whether it didn't, you still tried it. And I think that's what we need to think about going forward. And I'm not one of these that necessarily sets New Year's resolutions, but take 2024 as a year of exploration and experimentation and try things, because I think we all recognize that life is short. And the older I'm getting, and I say it to my other half all the time, I get on his nerves, and I say, babes, I'm really old, or I feel really old. I mean, I turned 41 this year. Now, to many people, 41 is not old, but I think when sometimes you sit and look at your life, you see how quick it's going, and you feel old because time moves so fast that we don't necessarily make the time to do things that we want to do or that we should be doing, because we're so busy with life in general and working and paying bills and looking after children or animals or whatever we've got going on. Time seems to move so fast. But what I've learned is I guess it's one thing I've learned this year, is to really get a balance between my personal life, my work life. And I don't just do spiritual work, and I do have a day job as well, which is not necessarily a career, but I think got to pay the bills, right? But when you have got different things going on, you have to make sure you do get a balance. You're not just spending all your energy or putting all your energy into one thing, because life is short. Life is for living, and whilst we're here, we need to make the most of what we have and the opportunities that we have. There are many people that don't necessarily have opportunities that some other people might have, but then sometimes we have to make opportunities, because in the world that we live in, things are not handed to us on a plate. Sometimes we've got to make things happen. We've got to put our energy into something to make it happen or to make it come to life. So, do think about what it is that you want to do going into 2024. And again, it's not necessarily about making a New Year's resolution, as people tend to do, but really think about those things that you want to do this year, going into the new year, which are different, which might put you outside your comfort zone. And again, it might be a scary thing to think about, but nobody grows from staying inside the comfort zone. We're only going to grow as people if we step outside that comfort zone and try new things. But whilst we're in that reflective mode, I thought I'd use this last episode to answer a question which Rachel had sent to me a while ago, but it feels right to answer it now. And that is, what is your favourite reading you've ever done and why? Do I have one that I've thought, this is amazing? Well, the first thing I'll say is, I don't know if I have a favourite reading, and that's more because I don't remember them. Any psychic or medium will tell you that we have this thing called psychic amnesia, which is where once we've done a reading, the information that we've given, it leaves our minds. And I've had people come to me and said, do you remember that reading you did for me 6 months ago? And I'm like, I don't even recognise who you are. And that sounds really bad, but it's only because we do so many readings and we see so many people that some of them we just don't remember, let alone the context of the reading itself. So yeah, I couldn't say that I have a favourite reading, but of course there are readings that stand out because of the evidence that has come through. And look, I still get blown away by some of the evidence that comes from spirit, because they're things that there's no way on earth I could know. And then when you see the impact that little bit of evidence has on that person, you know that you've hit the spot. You know that without a shadow of a doubt, that person sat in front of you knows that you are connecting with their loved one in the spirit world. So with that said, I'm going to share with you some examples of some readings that I've done this year, which have stood out to me for a number of reasons. And I'm going to introduce each one, and you're actually going to hear it for yourself. So the first reading I'm going to play for you was from the second time that I did a demonstration at the Bognor Regis Spiritualist Centre alongside the fabulous Bill Hughes psychic medium. And this reading was for another medium in the audience. Now, I knew who she was, but I'd never met her, didn't know anything about her. And this is some of the evidence that came through. Now, please bear in mind that the readings that I'm going to play for you have been edited down, right? Just for full disclosure, because because each reading was about 10-12 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, and obviously I didn't want to put a full reading of that length into this episode, otherwise we'd be here for hours. So these readings have been edited down, and I'm saying that because there are people out there who will say, oh, you've only edited in the good bits. Well, that's because they were good readings, right? There may have been the odd name that someone couldn't take, or a month of the year that someone couldn't take, but the rest of these readings, people could take all the information. But as I say, I've had to edit them down for the purposes of this episode. So let's play for you this first reading. So with the first link that I've got here, I've got a gentleman stepping forward, and I feel this gentleman wasn't so old when he passed. I feel like he may have been in his 30s or 40s. Now, I do feel there's a sense of a shock with this man's passing, and I feel it's more likely to be either someone on your level, as in a brother, cousin, friend, or if you're an older person, it could be your son. I don't feel like it's going to be your father, let's put it that way. And he had a habit. How do I put that? I can't say it. If I say angel dust, do I put it that way? Fairy dust. I'm seeing white powder, and so I'm going to say it. This man is telling me. I feel like he had a coat. It looks like cocaine. I've never done drugs, so I ain't got a clue. I feel that's what he's showing me. I've got white powder being shown to me. Can anyone understand this so far? Sarah, you can understand? Who is this person to you, please? Your brother. Okay. And you'd understand he was quite a joker, this man. Okay. I feel like I want to come up behind you and make you jump. Yes. Because I want to put my hands like here and you jump out your skin. He would find it hilarious. You wouldn't find it so hilarious at the time, but he just find it quite hilarious. Now, say that to me again. There's a Terry or a Tony that I want to give. Terry? Okay. That's very good. I just need to reference that man.
Please.
Okay. Okay. If it's too much, Diane, you can tell me to stop as well. Right, is that okay? Alright. So, whoever this man is, I need to reference. I don't necessarily know if it's his name, but someone else.
My dad, he died yesterday.
Oh, bless you. Okay. But then I feel that's your brother's way of saying I've got him. I'm with him. Okay. You said the old man's all right. The old man's here. Does someone have a back issue, Sarah?
My dad.
Oh, okay. So your dad's like, not necessarily feeling him. I feel it's more your brother. It's just to let you know that he's kind of got him and is trying to pull him in a little bit. Do you know, he's a good guy. I think he kept a lot in, and he would never want anyone else to feel guilty or carry a burden about what could we have done. Could we have called him more, texted him more, told him to go and see that do you know what I mean? All those kind of things he doesn't want. Because, okay, he doesn't want that.
I know.
And, okay. He said, I take full responsibility for placing myself in that, whatever happened. It's not telling me how he passed, it's more, I took responsibility of what happened. Oh, okay. So, although that wasn't his fault, it's more, he's put himself in that kind of place for it to happen. And to say that he doesn't want people to carry that, because it's not for you to carry.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm not touching that stuff. It's going to be a bottle of Sambuca.
I know why.
I'm glad you know why. I want to put a Jason around you as well.
It's his friend, actually.
Still living?
Yeah, it's his friend.
Okay.
It's one of his best friends.
So that's why he's calling his name out then, because it's obviously significant to him. So I've got to call Jason out. Now as I wrap it up here, I feel it's your brother's way of just coming in to let you know that he's there, he was alright, but also that he's got dad.
Yeah.
His dad's not stepping forward, but it's just the acknowledgement that dad's there with him.
Thank you.
And he keeps going about alcohol, he keeps saying have a drink on me.
Yeah.
I've got a can of lager or something in my hand I've got to give to you as well. But with that, my darling, do take his love and your dad's love as well.
Thank you very much.
Okay? Thank you. So the part of that reading which blew me away was the fact that I picked up the name of Terry or Tony for this lady. And as you heard or you may have heard, hopefully you did hear within that reading, was that Terry was the name of her dad who had passed away the day before. So the fact that her brother had dropped his name into my mind was enough to let her know that her brother was with her dad and her dad had made it safely across to the spirit world. Although it was just like a day later that her dad had made it there. And that was what she needed to hear, along with all the other evidence as well. Even like the small thing like me picking up the back issue that her dad had, she knew that without a shadow of a doubt, her brother was referencing her dad because it was her dad who had the back issue. So it's just trying to identify the father just with that one small bit of information. But yeah, that was very much needed from her perspective, which she told me afterwards. Now, this next example is also from that same evening at the Bognor Regis Spiritualist Centre. And this was another link that I had for another lady. And some of the evidence that came up in this reading even surprised me, as you're going to hear. But I'll allow you to hear it for yourself. Enjoy. I've got an older lady here who is either older mother or a grandmother. I feel she got quite a nice age, I want to say. She's quite old school, so I feel she goes back quite far. And she is showing me loads of jam jars. So my feeling is here that she either made jam or collected the jars that these jam came in. So I'm seeing these jam jars almost has like the muslin top over it and the ribbon around the lid. But I don't know if you know much about her, whoever I'm coming to. You may have just heard of her through family. Can anyone understand this so far?
I think it's my nan.
You think it's your nan? So you can understand everything I've said so far? Okay.
When you said I wouldn't know much about her, I wouldn't be diagnosed about you well.
Okay, but you know things about her. Okay, all right. But I do feel actually that I don't know if she had an illness because she's not making me feel ill. But even if she did, I feel it's quite short-lived because I feel quite a quick transition.
Yeah, she wasn't ill.
She wasn't ill. Okay, that's why I feel it doesn't make me feel sick. It's more a very short-lived thing. Okay, she keeps coming at number 13. So
Number 13.
Oh, you lived in that? Get out of it, did you? Oh, wow. So, the kids don't know much about her. She's identifying this is definitely her by giving me that number, 13. Okay. Do you understand the aerial? Look, my geography is shocking, but would you understand like a road or a street like Park Street or something?
Park Road.
Park Road?
Yes.
Is that where it was?
My nan lived there years ago.
Wow. Must be psychic. Okay, what are you touching my nose for? Don't make it grow anymore. Don't need to do that. No, I feel what she's doing is she feels quite a private lady to me as well. Because it's almost like saying to me, mind your business, mind your business. Not in a horrible way, but it's more bringing her personality through that. No, she was quite private. She didn't go telling people about her her life. Not that. She didn't mind knowing other people's business necessarily, but just didn't tell a lot of her own, if that makes sense. All right, okay. Why have I got to say that? Again, no, it's a lady mentioning the hair, so it might sound a bit generic, but I don't care. I'm going to say it because she's saying it to me. I don't know if you've got photos of her, because you keep referencing the hair. She's talking about the pin curl, whatever a pin curl is. I don't know if you've got a photograph like that.
I've got one at home, yeah.
Okay, because she's referencing that image. Again, just identifying herself here. Now, near or below her picture, there's a candle that you must light.
There's candles.
There's a candle, because I don't know if it's near her picture or direct under the picture. Thank you, because you showed me that. So again, she's aware where that photo's placed and where that candle is. I feel like there has been a visitation at some point from your nan.
Yeah.
Not very often, but it has happened now and again, right? Yeah. So it's just reinforcing that is her. Now she's jumping the month of April in my mind, so I need to give my April's her birthday, passing anniversary.
birthday.
Her birthday's in April. Fabulous. Okay. But she also does bring me to November. So it must be.
She passed.
Ah, okay. Thank you. So this truly is your nan coming through, right? I've got to give you a name. It sounds like Dolly. So it's a Dorothy, Dolly, but I'm hearing.
They had a sister, Dorothy.
She had a sister, Dorothy.
Yeah.
Okay. That could then be her way of bringing a sister into the conversation. All right. I've got a little dog in spirit as well. I don't get breeds given to me, but it's a little thing. She referenced Jack Russell.
Jack Russell. Yeah, they had Jack Russells.
They had them.
But now you're going to my mum's side.
Oh, well, there's a Jack Russell up here running around in the air. I don't normally get breeds, but she's given me the Jack Russell to give to you as well. Okay, all right.
I'm butting in, yeah.
And your mum's there as well?
I reckon.
Okay. Because I've got the lady who, the perfume is very strong.
That's my auntie.
Oh, you've got more here.
I have, yeah.
There's Spirit Hog over here. So I've got that the very strong smell of perfume coming in. Very.
Yeah, I smell it.
You smell her before you can see her, right? So as I'm wrapping this up here, there's quite a few here, I will say, but there's your nan that's. But isn't it funny, your nan that you didn't know so well, she's the one that's coming first. With the other ones, she's just referencing that them being there. So my darling, I'm going to leave their love with you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So that reading for me was one of my favourites of the night, actually, and I did about four or five readings that evening. And the fact that I got a door number of where she used to live, but also the road name of where her nan, who I was connecting to, of where she lived many years ago, I mean, that blew me away. And I kind of had to make a joke of it of, oh, I must be psychic, because I was taken aback a little bit, because I don't generally get road names in readings, because my geography and my sense of direction is shocking. So I don't tend to pick up on areas of the world or places, towns. I don't tend to get it. But to be able to give her the road name of where her nan used to live, I mean, that did blow me away. So, but yeah, so those were those two examples of being in a physical space and reading for an audience, a packed audience of people, and getting that evidence spot on. Again, personally, I feel, and I'm not blowing smoke up my own arse here, because that's not me, but I do feel that those readings give examples of what evidential mediumship should be. It's about the evidence that comes through, but it's all, not even just about the evidence, but it's about bringing through the essence and the character and the personality of those that are passed over, who are coming through to connect with their loved ones. And I think that's really important. And I always strive to give the evidence, to give the essence of that spirit person coming through. But, you know, there's always room for improvement. I do look back at my readings, like the one in Bognor, like these readings that I do online. I do look back at them. I do watch myself, sometimes cringing, because I always want to improve. I always want to give better evidence, quicker evidence, blending better with the spirit world. So I'm always striving to improve. But at the same time, I do hope that people can see that I do my best and that I do give evidential readings. But now, to finish off this last episode of 2023 and the last episode of season 2, I just want to thank everybody that has listened to this podcast, that has shared the podcast, that has taken from the podcast something useful, that has given me great feedback about the podcast. Truly, thank you very, very much. It was something that I've worked hard on. I've worked hard to answer your questions, but I've also worked hard to create it. You know, I've produced the whole thing. I have learned new skills with this, because I've learned how to produce a podcast. You know, looking at the settings of it, the recording of it, the creation of it, and thinking of content to put in each episode as well. So, as well as, you know, this year being a learning experience from a platform mediumship point of view, it's also been a learning experience from the point of view of learning new technical skills with different things, and this podcast being one of them. So I've definitely learned something from the creation of this podcast as well. So again, truly thank you everyone that has supported this podcast. Now, the podcast is going to be taking a bit of a break, and I don't know when or if I'll be back with season 3 at this point yet. I think looking at the podcast, I do want to refresh it, if anything. But also, I've got a busy year next year as well already by the looks of it. Like for February, for example, I've already got 7 demonstrations just in that 1 month. But also, I'm putting this out there now because maybe if I say it, it'll make me do it. But I think next year I want to focus on writing the second book and actually using the contents of the podcast as the second book. So although I've talked about certain things in the podcast, within the book I can go into more detail about the different things that I've spoken about in season 1 and season 2. So season 3, it may be back next year. I don't know. I'm not saying definitely yes, but I'm not saying definitely no either. So it depends where my spiritual work takes me. It depends if spirit inspire me or push me to do season 3 as well. We just have to see where it goes next year when I get there, basically. So in the meantime, you can still continue to re-listen to season 1 and to season 2. If you do, that will be absolutely fabulous. There might be people out there who have not even heard the podcast yet. So if there are people out there who could do with listening to the podcast, because they might be interested in the spiritual world, or you feel that like they may need something to listen to inspire them or to answer questions that they have, then do share the podcast with them as well, and still get it out there. And I'll still keep pushing the podcast anyway, whether it's season 1, season 2, it doesn't matter to me. If we just keep it out there, because as you know, I'm all about education, sharing my knowledge about the spiritual world. It's not just about readings. For me, mediumship, spirituality is about sharing what we know as well, right? So the more people hear it, hopefully the more it will help people as well. But you know what? I'm going to wrap it up there, I think. I wish you all a fantastic new year. Stay safe, stay healthy, and importantly, stay happy. And I'm sure I will see some of you somewhere soon. See you later.